Hey everyone, welcome to Mysteries of the Universe with Erin Werley, Philip Worley, and I am. We are so excited to welcome you in tonight. And if you are catching the replay but wanted to join us live, I am so sorry. We had technical difficulties with YouTube and YouTube wouldn't let us stream, but we will figure that out for next week. We're definitely going to post the replay for everyone. And just thank you guys so much for your understanding. Essentially, technical difficulties sometimes happen on the internet, and the show just has to go on anyway. And so that's what we're going to do. So we're so excited to be here with each and every one of you, whether live or on the replay. We have been looking forward to this all week, haven't we, babe?
Yes.
Yeah. This was so much fun last week, and we're definitely going to make it a regular Friday night affair thing. So I'm Erin Werley. I'm a best-selling author of the book One Truth, One Law. I create. I'm also a Soul Mission Activator and an energy healer. And this is my amazing husband, Phil.
Hello.
And so babe, you're gonna have to be pressing the admit button here.
Oh, okay.
So when somebody comes into the waiting room, to let them in. Okay. All right, so let's get to it.
All right. So we're gonna ask some questions. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. First question. Could you talk about finding your soulmate or romantic partner?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, this is a beautiful heart's desire to want to find somebody to walk by your side in this lifetime. There's usually a lot of programming or conditioning when you have not found your partner yet around, and the conditioning looks different for everyone, right? But it's really about identifying what that conditioning is for you. It might be something like all the good ones are taken, or women over 50, they can't find, all the good men over 50 are taken, or vice versa. Or something like, whenever I date someone, they do this, and this, right? So looking at what has happened in your past as if that will certainly manifest in your future again, without seeing yourself as a multidimensional being who is constantly learning and growing and has every opportunity to create a new relationship this time and not bring any of the pain or patterns from the past into that relationship. So it's really about imagining and envisioning the person that you would love to spend the rest of your life with, right? What things do you love to do together? What are your values, right? So it's not about creating someone from the place of I need, right? Because when we need something, it's because we're not enough on our own. So it's not I need, and it's not I'm here to give all of me to someone else because that will make me feel full. It's very much the feeling and energy of I'm complete as I am, but I'm looking for someone to make my life even more extraordinary. I'm looking for a partner. Now, the other thing to understand is that in relationships, humans tend to take one of two tacks. Either they see themselves as being unfulfilled, and so they look towards fixing everything in their partner or giving everything to their partner to make themselves feel more fulfilled, like they have a purpose, right? Or the other way humans tend to handle relationships, and this is very generalized, but they tend to essentially say, just notice, pick apart all the things that are wrong with their partner and see themselves constantly as the injured party. The truth of the matter is, in a relationship, you're not looking for someone who is perfect, because as a human, there's always going to be parts of you that are learning and growing. That's part of the human condition. There's nothing wrong or bad about the fact that you're going to learn and grow over your lifetime. What you're looking for, ideally, is a partner who wants to learn and grow with you, which means that you will both act as mirrors for each other's expansion and growth. So you're looking for someone who is not perfect, but who is willing to learn and grow with you, who's willing to have those uncomfortable conversations, who's willing to see where growth is necessary, and also to show you where you're going to be expanding, right? So it's really that partnership of you accelerate each other's learning and growth. And when you find this person that is absolutely right for you, there's going to be such tremendous feelings of love. It's going to be such a beautiful situation. But we don't want to look for perfect, and we don't want to look for incredibly damaged either. What we want to look for is our perfect person, and we do that very simply, despite everything that I've just said around this. Very simply, you imagine the life that you would like to have with an ideal partner. What activities do you do together? What are your values? How do you deal with arguments, right? Imagine that, and you will create the person you're looking for. Also, being willing to look at those limiting beliefs that you probably have had since childhood. Probably it could have been put into your head by watching your parents' relationships, or watching the relationships of other people around you, or simply from movies that relationships are supposed to be a certain way. And so it's being willing to look at that and choosing that just because those were experiences you had in your past, the past can stay in the past now, and you can move forward. Absolutely. You can create fresh right now. So thank you for that beautiful question.
Can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So if you want to meet your one, my recommendation would be to write it down. You want to visualize it, write it down, like not like what they look like, but what kind of person they are, and what kind of relationship you want to have. Write it all down, bullet point it. Because if you write, it's really, writing things down is really powerful. This is probably the most important thing you can do in your life, finding your soulmate. So write it down. And if you write it down and you know exactly what you want, you'll probably find it. It's interesting, this question, because I actually saw an interview with J.K. Rowling where she talked about this. Whoever was interviewing her, they asked her, how she found her husband. And interestingly, after she wrote all her books and she's super successful, she wasn't married. You'd think that this amazing woman, so she would have a problem finding a mate, but she was single. And her friend asked her, she said, her friend asked her what kind of man she wanted, what kind of spouse she would want if she got married. And she thought about it. She said, okay, this is who I'd be looking for. And she bullet pointed it, told him, this is exactly what I want out of a person. And she said it was a few weeks later, she met somebody. And then later on, they got married. And then she was looking at him and their relationship, she realized, oh my gosh, this is everything I said to my friend that I wanted. Because it's like so powerful to think about something and actually realize what you want and say it out loud or write it down. It's so powerful. Yeah. The universe can create it then.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Now, it's interesting because I created Phil in my mind 2 weeks before I met him. And I found a few weeks after meeting you, I found a notebook where you had written me down. Before you met me.
I'd written a lot of things.
Yeah, you were.
See, I wrote her down. She wrote me down. So we found that one list that I wrote that I didn't even remember writing.
Yeah,
like I must have I don't even know where it came from because I must have read like some self-help book or something like a long time ago, like a couple decades ago. And they had me do that, write stuff down. And we were going through this box of paperwork and I had, we found this list I wrote about what kind of life what I wanted to achieve, like what kind of person I wanted to be. Incredible, like all of those things happened. Like they happened over
cool.
like 10, 15 years.
It was pretty cool. And he didn't even remember writing them down.
No, I didn't even realize it happened.
Handwriting.
But it's like it happens so slowly and gradually, you don't even notice it. And then you look at it and go, holy crap, over the last like 10, 15 years, this happened. Like this actually happened. Like, did I create this? So writing things down is okay. Inner child healing has been coming up for a lot for me lately. Do you have any advice or guidance on how to approach and follow through with this type of healing work?
So inner child healing is some of the deepest healing work that you can do. And as you do the inner child healing, it's actually what's really going to lead you to the next level of healing, which is going to be ancestral line healing and past life healing. But it starts with the inner child. The inner child is essentially the memories of your past that won't leave you alone. And what's interesting is once you heal some of those, some more will tumble down into your awareness and you'll say, oh, I didn't know those. I didn't remember this until now, but you made some space by healing and clearing out the ones that had been in your awareness for years. And then more were able to drop down because that space was cleared within you. So the inner child healing, it's very much about understanding that whatever painful memories from your past, or honestly, it might not even feel painful. It might feel sad, or you might think of it from time to time and get angry or say, that wasn't there, right? So anything that happened to you as a child, that if there were ideal conditions and all children got everything that they needed for that would have just made only a joyful life, wouldn't have happened, our potential inner child healing situations. But also recognizing that it's not something you need to go hunting for. You don't need to go hunting for the times you were hurt in your past. Okay, instead, trust that whatever memories have been coming up over and over again in your life, those are the ones that are, we're trying to let you guys in. There is another one. Those are the memories that are first to be healed. So you don't have to go into hypnosis, go into all these things. What are the unhappy memories from your childhood? It's a beautiful place to start. And we tend to think of the past as very fixed, right? The past can't be changed. But in fact, that's not true at all. The past is just as fluid as the future. The only thing that is solid in our quantum reality is our now moment. Past and future are equally fluid. And so the thing to do is to pull that memory up, that memory that's been dogging you for years, and just close your eyes, remind yourself that you're safe right now, right? You're in your home or you're outside in the grass, you're somewhere very safe. And whatever hurt you in the past cannot hurt you now. I suggest wrapping yourself with love consciously, just with the intention. I wrap myself with love, safety, security, support. I call, and whoever you are comfortable working with, whether that's angels, light beings, whether it's Jesus, whoever resonates with you, call them to your side for this work, to do the work with you. And you want to go to that memory and pause it. so that nobody's moving, nobody's talking. Okay? And you want to go to that little version of you, and you want to first wrap them in love. Okay? And you're doing this essentially as a light being or angel yourself as yourself from the future. Wrap them in love. And then I want you to talk to them. Whatever else is happening in the scene is paused. But now you are talking to them with kindness, as if they were your own treasured child you love more than anything in the world. Talk to them. Tell them that they will grow up and have a wonderful life. Tell them that they will be okay, that you are so thankful for every step that they take. And give them whatever they need in that moment. If it's a hug, whatever it is. It might be words. We did inner child healing on Phil recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a situation where he had childhood friends. Oh, sorry about that, Sam. Yes, the replay will be available. So he had childhood friends that this memory had been coming up for him. And how did they treat you?
It's not like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't, they're supposed to be my friends, but they were kind of like condescending,
Yeah.
you know? It's like I hadn't realized that they were my friends, but they weren't really my friend, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we did the
It's like
healing,
I didn't get that as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did we have you do when we did the healing? Do you remember?
I think you had me go back and give advice to little Phil. Like, what would you tell Phil about the situation, what's going on, and
Right.
how should he, what should he learn from it? How should he understand this? You know?
Yeah. So you're helping from your perspective of all of the years of knowledge that you have. What would you tell this version of you to help them? As if, and we said to Phil, as if you are little Phil's father, right?
Oh, is that what you
And
said?
you love him unconditionally. Yes. And when we did this, it triggered so many more memories coming down for Phil about other people, other friendships where he had been treated this way as he continued to get older. And
It kept happening because maybe I didn't
so
learn,
these,
understand, didn't learn from it what I needed to. So
right, as we healed and cleared that first memory that had dropped in, all these next ones dropped in until we had cleared the whole line of them. And then we saw the absolute root was the situation with Phil's mother, where she wasn't treating him with respect. And you're able to clear so much out in a half hour. So it was really, really beautiful. So what I'd like you to know about this is that you have the power within you to do this right now, exactly as you are. While there are guides that can help you do this, you can also do this for yourself. It's going back to those scenes, pausing them, wrapping that younger version of you in love, and treating that version of you as if it is your beloved child, giving it exactly what it needs in that moment. And also then asking what lesson is there for you as an adult now to extract from seeing and healing this. And that's a great question. Thank you so much. I should also put the chat on in case people have questions here.
didn't even know the chat.
Oh, thank
Cool.
you,
Oh,
Stacy.
all right. So they're chatting. I didn't even know. So I know what I'm doing.
Here.
All right, cool. Next one. All right. I have never needed to market myself or my services through social media before because I've always made enough money with my job. But I am launching a new program which I created myself. I need to start generating my own clients and start networking. I feel scared and excited at the same time. I'm having doubting thoughts such as, who am I to be doing this? I'm not good enough. I don't have enough connections to make this work. While at the same time, I'm also experiencing some positive thoughts, such as this is a new opportunity to liberate myself. I strongly feel this is what life wants from me because the project fits like a glove and is very aligned with my heart. I'm willing to go for it and do the work. Any advice on how to make this new experience as flowing, easy, and generative as possible?
What a beautiful question. So first of all, congratulations on choosing this new path. I absolutely love celebrating these big decisions to move forward into a new fork in the road that's taking us closer to our heart's desires and who we feel is our next level self. So absolutely amazing. So exciting. So definitely just celebrating is number one. Number two is when we haven't been on social media before, there tends to be a fear, or maybe we've just used it to communicate with friends and families or family or watch funny videos, something like that. There tends to be a feeling of, I don't like this because it's new. It's not comfortable yet. Anything that is us stepping into our next level self, we're going to have a little bit of uncomfortable resistance because we're not used to being there. And so simply choosing, and Erin, okay, for a few years, because she had never really done social media before her business, she said she didn't like social media. And that's what she was creating. She didn't like social media and social media didn't like her. But a while ago, she decided she loved social media. So that's the first thing. If you're going to use social media, choose from a place of, I love social media. What an amazing opportunity that was not available to humans 20 years ago and, infinitely into the past to connect and start businesses for very little upfront cash because we can connect into the people of the world with ease now. So what a beautiful opportunity social media has. Are there bad parts about social media? Yes. Of course, there are parts that people don't like and everybody sees the bad parts as something different, and that's fine. That's fine. But if we focus on the parts that we don't like, then that becomes our social media experience. Instead, decide to start with, I absolutely love social media. Also decide, because as a new social media user, you're going to have very few followers. That's okay. Everybody has to start somewhere. That's normal. And in fact, every big social media account started with no followers. That's where everyone starts. So know that that's part of the process. It's completely normal part of the process, okay? So what I want you to do is envision your account with 100,000 followers or 1 million followers, okay? And every day when you post to your account, even if you have 2 followers, you are posting to your account as if you have 100,000 followers or 1 million or 444,000 followers, whatever you decide as your follower count. When you are envisioning your ideal follower count, you post as if that's true. You write your post, you take your video, whatever you're doing, and then from really intuitive guidance. It should always be coming from intuitive guidance. And once you have intuitively created your content, you look at it and you say, is this my post or video or whatever it may be for my account with 100,000 followers or 444,000 followers or whatever it is that you are creating? Okay, and hold yourself to that standard. Because what happens is people tend to believe, and this goes for manifesting anything, that they're willing to show up and do the work, but they're going to do it from a place of timidity because they are not yet that person they dream of being that is bold and and bright and shiny and everything they dream of being. They're not there yet. So they're creating whatever it is they're creating still from this old version of them that is hiding in so many ways. And so if you can create something and then look at it from the filter of, is this my fully expressed self with hundreds of thousands of followers, or is this coming from a place of hiding? You're going to just rocket to the moon. It's going to be fantastic.
In the days before you started hearing I Am, did you need to disconnect from every other form of external input in order to make space for I Am to come through?
That's such a beautiful question. We were definitely on a very natural journey. I'll tell you the biggest thing that we did was we stopped using fluoride toothpaste. We started drinking distilled or purified water so that it didn't have fluoride in it. So those were the, I think, really big movers that we did. But besides that, no, we were still watching movies. I don't know that we were doing a lot of other electronical things. It was like 2011.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, we bought the sort of tape recorder with batteries instead of, I remember when we went to Walmart that first day, like they had a few of the digital recorders and we were like both like, oh, what would we do with that? Oh my gosh, we were like, give us the.
So we bought the tapes and everything.
Yeah, so no, it was not this thing where we had to be completely disconnected from modern technology to be able to connect in. It was more about me making that conscious space every day for a good half hour of where I was completely disconnecting from everything and going within with the intention for hearing my highest available guidance. So that's really what did it. And it's like we as humans and spiritual beings at the same time, we are not here to not be human and not have human experiences. We are here to absolutely be the fullest potential humans possible and live our best lives. That is actually a very deep form of spirituality, seeing it as there's nothing wrong with being human, that God, source, the universe chose us to be human. And we are here to fulfill that deepest version of what does our heart's desire for us. And that leads us to our soul mission and our soul's purpose here on earth. But it's not about being perfectly spiritual. And that's a trap that I have been at different points in my life. And I found that really does not resonate with how things actually work.
That being said, I know I think there's a few times I am recommended to stop paying attention to the news so much. I think it was because during the pandemic there's so much.
Oh, that's
distraction.
true.
So I think
So
a couple of times it did recommend you stop focus on the news so much.
that's true. So that was more to help me move up energetically than it was to hear I am, because I've always been able to hear I am, whether I'm watching the news or not. So that was more for my own spiritual fulfillment and my own feeling more in higher energies versus those lower fear energies, right? So it was really good guidance from I am, but it wasn't to allow me to connect into I am.
Gotcha.
So I think that we can connect into I am, whoever we are, wherever we are. And I think we don't have to put a lot of limits on what we need to do to make that connection. But certainly we can look at removing some of the electronic things from our life to bring us into higher vibrations, yes. But we can connect to I am in any vibrations because that's truly who we are at our core. That's a really good point, babe.
Like there's probably like points in your life where it might be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You might have to go camping and go in the woods or something like that, but doesn't mean that you have to live your whole life that way. It's just like, just like diet, like it might be a certain time in your time in your life where a different diet works for you, whatever, and change it up. It doesn't mean you have to do that.
Yeah, that's such a good point about the seasons in our life, that our life paths are not like this. They're very much like this. And when we follow our intuition and our gut feeling and our inner guidance, we start riding the waves and not feeling overwhelmed by them. Because yes, sometimes we are going to feel guided and really feel the call. I want to get away from all electronics. I'm not feeling good in that space, right? But then there's going to be other times, maybe after a few months or a few years of that, where you're so strongly guided to go do something, maybe open up a social media account and start sharing with people. And so it's all about not being so rigid with who you are and what is right for you, but recognize that your guidance is always changing. And the more that you go with the flow of that, the easier it's all going to be.
So your intuition will tell you what's right for you right now. But
Yeah.
like a lot of times we block it out because we think, well, I
That
did this
wasn't
thing in the
right
past.
for me, right?
It wasn't for
Right.
me best. Then I was doing this other thing and it was right. So I got to keep doing it. So I'm going to ignore this because it can't be right because I was doing this and it was right. But then you actually look at the situation going, it's not working anymore. You know, like a lot of times I got stuck because I was trying to do what used to work as opposed to listening to my intuition was telling me you need to do something different.
Yeah, that's really common.
Okay. I rarely ever leave my apartment and often refer to myself as a shut-in. That's been my way of life for a long time due to the depression that I've had most of my life. But recently, I hardly ever feel that depression anymore. I am so grateful for that. My question is, how do I know if I can help anyone? And if so, how do I begin to take the action necessary to help?
Okay, so this is a beautiful question. Your questions are always beautiful. Thank you to each and every one of you that sends in questions. You are so very appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, first of all, it's absolutely amazing that you are feeling that the depression has lifted. So, celebrating that, making that a big deal for you instead of, oh, well, I hardly ever feel that anymore. How about, holy cow, this is incredible. There was this thing that was hanging over me like a dark cloud for a portion of my life, and now I feel that it's lifted. Oh my goodness. And I guarantee you moved yourself through that. Celebrate yourself. There is not enough celebrating in this world. Instead, we're always looking at, I'm not good enough yet, and I must get there, wherever there is, so that I can be good enough. And then when I get there, I'll celebrate. You celebrate now, and you'll start bringing there closer simply by the celebrating who and what you are right now. There's so much magic in celebrating. So I'm celebrating you. That is absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing. The second thing is that there tends to be two main thoughts, limiting beliefs that get people caught up when they feel the call to go out and do something in their life that will impact others. And the first is, there's no room for me in the world of offering services or help to others. Everybody else has already done it before me. And to this, I say that you are a unique soul with your own life's purpose, and there are plenty of souls that are waiting for you to take the first step so that they will be enlightened by that first step that you take, and then begin taking their own first steps. So your life has been completely unique to you. Your life is like, it's even more unique than a fingerprint, because fingerprints are not always unique anymore, they know now. Your life is even more unique than a fingerprint. Every single occurrence in your life makes you a unique being with a unique perspective to share and guide others, which is such a beautiful thing. So the other reason that people tend not to take action is simply out of fear that they aren't good enough right now as they are. And to this I say that there are people that are still depressed while being shut in, that will be so enlightened by the knowledge that you have moved through the depression part of being shut in. So you do not have to be fully healed to be someone that can help others exponentially. All you have to do is show them that you're further along than they are. And this is beautiful. And truly, when we start stepping out and taking those first scary actions towards our life purpose and making an impact on others, that's the greatest healing journey. Because we're not here to simply experience and keep our gifts to ourselves. We're here to share. And as we heal, it becomes time to share that with others. Share the possibilities, share the love, share the truth, share all of our journey. So thank you for that beautiful question.
Yeah, you don't have to be good enough to help everybody. You just have to be good enough to help the people that are where you used to be.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like a limiting belief, thinking, oh, I have to have all the answers. You don't have to have answers. You have to have the answers that can help some people.
Yeah, but it's a very common limiting belief too.
I know I've had that a lot.
I've had it too.
I didn't know that I can actually communicate with I am. After reading your book, I was inspired. I started consciously asking questions or asking to be given guidance for the day. I don't always receive an answer, and sometimes I worry that it's myself or my persona who is speaking with me and not I am. If I don't receive an answer, does it mean that something is wrong, or what is the explanation?
So everyone's journey is different. Also, I would look for, if you don't receive an answer, can you ask the question another way? Because I don't always receive the answer. But when I don't receive it, I recognize that the question needs to be reframed. Or maybe I'm asking a question that isn't at all helpful to me advancing on my life path. So I would, first of all, try to reframe the question. If you're unable to get an answer with reframing, try asking something like, is this line of questioning not helpful to my life path and my next steps? So that's the thing. I am, God, source, the universe is always moving us in our next direction. And for some of us, there might be something else to do first before we move into hearing I am clearly all the time. You know, I was working with someone who did the I am connection keys, an absolutely beautiful soul, and we were going back and forth about her journey to begin speaking to I am, and she had gotten off all of her anxiety medications by following the I am connection keys protocol for 30 days. All of her anxiety medications were gone, right? So that was incredible, but she still wasn't hearing I am. And so, you know, we asked her, okay, well, what are you doing when you have these conversations? And it turned out she hadn't been using the voice recorder and speaking the answers out loud. And so that was a clear knowing to me right away that when we just are listening for I am in our head, instead of speaking the answers without judging them first, what's going to happen is there was a room for our persona to say, oh, I don't know, I don't think that's I am, blah, blah. And it becomes a whole conversation in your head between your persona and who, you know, it becomes a jumbled mess. And so we must use that voice recorder or speak it out to another person. If we don't have a voice recorder, you can use an app on your phone, because that allows you just to speak stream of consciousness without any of those doubting thoughts coming in and without you judging the thoughts as they come. And then you can get a picture of what are the thoughts in your head. Now, for this beautiful soul, she had some very hurtful thoughts in her head. And so we moved her on to the part of the I am connection keys, where you begin having the conversation as if you are God. And so she started to speak kindly to these thoughts that a few days ago, before recording herself, she wasn't even aware were in her head, spewing hate at her all day. And so she was able then to begin to come in and speak with kindness to these thoughts. So whereas she thought, because she had been on the journey for maybe 45 days now from starting the I am connection keys, she thought that she should be hearing I am already. But the truth of the matter was there were some other things that she needed to attend to first. First of all, she had to become aware of what her thoughts in her head actually were. And then she needed to speak with kindness to those words. And now I just spoke to her a few days ago, and she is feeling like something's really switching for her because of the kindness. And so she's getting there, but our paths are all individual. So we don't want to get caught in this place where if we are not hearing I am's voice clearly, we're not doing it wrong. It just simply means there's some more inner work to be done there before you're ready to really accept I am's voice and feel it strongly and firmly without having a lot of doubts around it.
I know for me, like, I don't hear like Erin does, especially when on demand, but when I want to answer to a question, I know is a lot of times I don't get it right away. So I have to be patient and just know that it's going to come to me. And sometimes it comes later in the day. It might be the day later. Maybe it's in the shower when I'm really relaxed, it comes to me. But for me, it's just being patient and relaxed and knowing that it's coming. And it does eventually.
Yeah, that's
I know,
a
I just
big
have to
part
wait.
of it is, yeah, but also at the same time, you haven't done the I am connection
No.
keys. But Phil does have a beautiful connection to I am.
Okay. All right. I've been facing a reoccurring and very hard to admit situation for the past 5 years. Bed bug infestations, or in my case, maybe manifestations. The first time I suffered from this was a real and traumatic occurrence of bed bugs. Since then, I feel like I've had them around 8 or more times, each time having sometimes 3 or 4 rounds of not being able to be certain if they are truly gone. In the past, I've had bed bug companies say there's nothing else they can do and no bugs should be able to be alive. But yet I was still getting bites, and I'm finally able to know they have to be gone now. Usually once I've let go of half of my things. Most times professional inspectors, as well as myself, are not able to find any bugs, but yet I'm still getting undeniable bites. This time I have over 16 of them, many of which have turned into scabs now. Most times I can find their droppings, but usually never the actual bugs. I have numerous stories of how they have resurfaced, all except one of them being about a 0.0001% likelihood. The whole situation is incredibly confusing, and the worst part is, as it seems to happen whenever I'm managing to break out of survival mode, having a chance at thrival mode, or it comes up when I'm living more in fear. It seems like either way, I lose. I keep thinking it's a lesson to show me how powerful of a creator I am. Sadly, this unexplainable and inescapable situation is only one of others I experience in my life. I know to be rid of this, I have to drop the story of being a victim and know I am powerful. Any help would be massively appreciated. The energy worker I see who clears energy says that she doesn't sense any physical bugs to be in my home now. I'm wondering if you can see if this is a real occurrence I am dealing with at the moment, and if there might be some kind of entity or energy keeping me from breaking free. as it seems like I am up against so much?
Okay, so beautiful question. Thank you so much for your courage in sharing that with us. So the first thing is, you mentioned that the first occurrence of this caused quite a bit of trauma, right? This was a very hard thing. Often when there's some sort of a bug infestation, be it bed bugs or lice or whatever it is, cockroaches, whatever it is, there tends to be a lot of shame that comes up, a lot of guilt, a lot of self-blame. And then we're afraid to share it with others, friends, family, right? Because they're going to judge us. They're going to say there's something wrong with us. Why didn't we have a situation? You know, why did this happen to us? There's obviously something wrong with us. And we tend to really internalize that. And so what happens is, this is showing you everything is a mirror. So there's something in either a childhood or a past life where there was a similar situation, and there was a lot of shame and pain and embarrassment felt by the adults in your life because of it. Okay? And you may or may not have been consciously aware of it at the time. Often we are not, or we don't remember it, and it's coming up as an occurrence for us now to help us heal. You know, when something that is considered shameful to most people happens, if it happens to our parents or our grandparents or other adults in our life, they'll often try to hide it. And we as children will be very confused and won't know what's going on. It'll become trapped emotions within us. And then it'll pop up again in a similar way in adulthood, in an effort to remove itself from our body, in an effort to be felt fully so that we can release it. And so what really needs to happen here is the energetic and conscious release of this situation, of any shame, embarrassment, any pain felt in your body is also occurring in your energy field in your mind. So I love to say the most powerful words that exist are I release. I release, I release, I release. Allow yourself to feel the pain of this situation, feel it in your body, feel the shame, feel the embarrassment, feel it for a few minutes. And then I release, I release, I release. Wrap the whole situation in love. Feel it turning to light and just let it drift away. So the bites on your body, when we are clearing something energetically, you said it happens both when you're in a fear state and also when you're sort of moving forward in life. So when you are moving forward, you're experiencing a bit of an up level. These bites are coming out because the body is expressing them. And this is so rashes, bites, these are very, very common after energy work. And you say you've had an energy healer working on this with you. Very, very common. The body purges these things and it comes out often through our skin. And so this is actually a very normal healing reaction to very deep, powerful energy work. And that's what I really feel is going on here. However, when you don't recognize that as that, and when the energy healer that you're working with doesn't have this knowing within them, instead of allowing you the knowledge that this is a very normal occurrence, there's nothing to worry about and it'll pass quickly, you know, usually within a week or two, and you're going to feel so much better and so much lighter. Instead of having that steady hand of guidance behind you, you have somebody who says, well, I don't know, it's, you know, I don't see anything there. Okay, so what happens instead of you being able to see, oh, thank goodness this is coming out of my body, I'm so grateful. It's, what's wrong with me? What's going on? And so instead of having that natural release response, you're having a fear response of, I don't understand the situation. So all you need to do is start releasing it. Start releasing, release, release, release. Feel the pain in your body, feel the uncomfortableness in your body, feel the shame, feel the fear, feel all of it in your body. Wrap yourself in love and choose to release it. Choose, just like you said, I'm not a victim anymore. I'm a beautiful being of light, and I choose to release this situation. I choose that as I move forward with healthy skin, a beautiful bed that supports me in every way. So we don't even want to bring bed bugs up, right? Because we're not creating a situation with bed bugs. And if we say, I'm creating a beautiful bed with no bed bugs, the universe hears, put bed bugs in that bed. So we want to release any bed bug stuff and then create this beautiful cocoon of light on and around your bed, where your bed is your sanctuary. It feels so good. And I really recommend, because I feel a lot of shame that wants to be released around this. I'd love for you to buy a new, because I bet, well, this has been going on. It seems silly to spend money on a nice setup for your bed, right? Nice sheet, nice comforter, nice pillows, because it might just have to be thrown out because of the bed bugs. So to really clear the slate and create this beautiful cocoon of light for your bed, buy some nice sheets, a nice comforter, some nice pillows, where you're building this sanctuary. The past gets to be in the past. It doesn't matter what's happened up until this now moment. It can all be in the past now. Thank you for your question and your bravery.
Okay. I once heard a voice, but I don't know who that was. I fear that I may have a God complex blocking it from coming back.
Okay. So when we hear a voice and we're not used to it, right? What is that? It's probably usually, when we hear a voice like that, it's probably pretty loud, pretty insistent. And it's like, what's going on? I'm not used, where did that come from, right? Where did that come from? And our fear response can kick in simply because it's an unknown. And when we feel fear and we put up a wall of resistance, that can cause whatever and wherever that voice came from to feel that resistance, feel that no, I'm scared, and leave. And so all you need to do is go back to that moment, just like when we talked about with the inner child hearing. Go back to that memory, pause it, wrap the whole thing in light and love, and talk to yourself. Tell yourself you're safe. Everything's going to be okay. It's okay if we choose, instead of worrying what's going on here, what is this voice? Am I going crazy? Am I losing it? Instead of all those thoughts, we choose, it's okay to talk to this voice. Let's try that. Let's try that. I'll hold your hand while you talk to this voice. And what would you ask the voice? What would that conversation look like? Go back and recreate the moment as if there's nothing to fear, as if you are surrounded by light and love at all moments. You are so protected, you are so safe, you are so secure, and it is safe to explore in this life and in your past memories.
You want to do some more? Or when do we have to pick up?
Oh, we have to get the kids. Okay, well, let's do one more. One more.
How do I know what I hear in my mind is from my I am God source, and that I am not having a delusion?
Well, that's a great question. So the best way to know? Well, first of all, we want to look at, is this an I am thought, or is this a persona, ego, fear, doubt thought, right? I am thoughts are always going to be expansive and always believe in limitless possibilities, whereas persona, ego, doubts are going to be limiting you, not believing in you, not trusting that you're limitless, very constrictive thoughts. Now, sometimes the I am thoughts might say, well, don't do this. This isn't a good thing for you, but it's actually not limiting you. It's the thing it's telling you not to do is actually the thing that would have limited you. So you really have to look at each thing individually. So that's the first part of it, okay? Looking at those thoughts. But the next part is, once you've got a piece of guidance and you believe that it falls into the limitless variety, you've got to take action on it. Because otherwise you're always going to wonder if it's delusion. But when you take action on this guidance and you don't see from your limited human perspective how in the world this isn't going to crash all around you and cause complete disaster in your life. You take this crazy bit of guidance, you take action on it, and you find that you were supported. You start building the knowing that, holy cow, this is all real. The universe really is supporting you. It really is sending you guidance. And it'll just keep building your trust in the universe. But until you are willing to take action on the guidance, you will always wonder if it's a delusion. So that was a great question. Thank you so, so much. So yes, we have to pick up our children. Thank you so much for joining us on Zoom tonight. We are going to figure out this YouTube situation for next week, and we will see you all back here next Friday night. So much love to each and every one of you. Bye-bye.